Welcome to our 17th episode of Your Money Life Coach on eRadio with me, Barbara Mundell. This is your weekly Wednesday inspiration to act and manage your money better. Now, today we are going to look at prescribed minimum benefits. For those of you who can recall, last week we looked at what is a medical aid and the 5 things that you should have known about your medical aid. One of the things that all medical aids have, irrespective of the plan or the option that you are on, is what they call PMBs or prescribed minimum benefits. Today I'm going to focus on it a bit because it's confusing for a lot of people and there are many rules associated to how prescribed minimum benefits are regulated and treated. Prescribed minimum benefits were created to have a continuous healthcare no matter what plan or membership you have with a particular medical aid. It's there to help you maintain ongoing treatment for certain conditions. As we all know, there are certain conditions that requires ongoing treatment in order for you to have a meaningful, purposeful life. Now, prescribed minimum benefits basically says to the medical aids that for every single member on your medical aid, no matter what plan they're on, you have to provide them with prescribed minimum benefits, and this is the basket of goods you need to provide for them. So, what is a prescribed minimum benefit? A prescribed minimum benefit is 1. Any emergency healthcare situation that requires you to have immediate healthcare to save your life. Then there's a list of 271 defined medical conditions and 25 defined chronic conditions. To find out which chronic and which diseases is on as a prescribed minimum benefit, you can contact your medical aid and they should be able to provide you with a list. Now, last week we discussed that your medical aid belongs to the members of a medical aid, and it's therefore very important that they keep costs as low as possible so that they can serve as much people as possible. Therefore, with prescribed minimum benefits, your medical aid can dictate to you which service providers to use. These are also known as a DSP or designated service provider. They will cover that DSP in full according to the treatment protocol. What if you decide, I don't want to use the DSP? Well, your medical aid can then say to you, well, we're not going to cover the full bill for that. There is a compulsory co-payment for you to pay to get the treatment. For medication, there is usually a prescribed formulary or treatment plan for every single PMB condition. Your medical aid can, in certain instances, say to you, listen, you have to use the generic of that certain type of medicine, or we will only pay for X and you have to pay the rest. Now, where there is no generic alternative or your doctor says that only this treatment will work best for your particular case, you can apply for ex gratia benefits with your medical aid. Another way in which medical aid manages these costs is to apply waiting periods to prescribed minimum benefits for new members. Now, there's a very specific reference in the Act to how and where they can apply these benefits. Where you've had a break in cover for more than 90 days from your previous medical aid to your new one, they can apply a new PMB waiting period. When you leave your employment and your medical aid is linked to your employment, that's the one portion people generally forget, is to take out a new medical aid as soon as their previous cover stops. This could leave you with that gap period where you had no cover and you could see yourself having a new waiting period for your prescribed minimum benefits. The last thing I want to touch on is the importance of ICD-10 codes and how prescribed minimum benefits are paid within your medical aid. Now, most of you understand that medical aids have got certain tiers of cover, and the higher up in the plans you go, the higher your cover. They usually start off with you're covered in full with hospital, or majority of your hospital expenses are paid with an annual limit. Depending on the plan you choose, you might also have a savings portion or a medical aid savings account, as it is generally known. And you might have a self-payment gap, which basically means up until a certain amount of rands, after you've spent that, you are then covered back in full. So these are all tools that medical aid use to manage the cost. Now, when you look at prescribed minimum benefits, they have to be paid from your risk benefits. Now, what does that mean? Well, every single plan has got a basic level of cover. That's defined as the scheme's risk benefit. So that is anything that does not pay from your savings account and generally excludes your sub-limit payments, like for acute medicine, in other words, your over-the-counter medicine, or other chronic medicine that are not defined as PMBs. It's very important that when you engage with the medical service provider, that you make sure that the code that they are using for your specific illness is the ICD-10 code. Your ICD-10 codes help your medical aid to determine where to pay this benefit from. Now, prescribed minimum benefits has to be paid from your risk benefit. That is legislated. So often when claims are coded incorrectly, and often medical aids make mistakes as well, they claim this from your savings account, which means when you need your medical aid for other diseases or dentistry benefits, your savings has been depleted where it should have been paid from your risk benefits. Thus, before you leave the doctor, my final tip, make sure the ICD-10 code on any bill of a doctor, a pharmacy, a specialist is listed as that particular one for your chronic disease. You can find the list of the ICD-10 codes on the Council for Medical Schemes website, www.medicalschemes.com, or you can just ask your medical aid to please provide you with a treatment plan, and on your treatment plan will give you the exact benefits that you are entitled to from your risk benefits for your prescribed minimum benefits, which codes the doctor should use, and what other benefits you have that you might not be aware of. Things like preventative care for certain conditions are also included as part of your treatment protocol for prescribed minimum benefits. That's it for me today. I hope that you found this episode valuable. Please remember that it is available as a podcast on the eRadio website after this. Share it with your friends and family.